War of the Worlds is a sci-fi movie directed by Rich Lee. It stars Ice Cube, Eva Longoria, Gregg, and Devon Bostick. This is a new adaptation of the classic H.G. Wells novel War of the Worlds, which, as we all know, has had many adaptations like the 1953 movie and the 2005 Spielberg movie. Both are pretty good in their own regard. The only info I really gathered from this movie is that apparently it was made during COVID, but has only been released now a whole 5 years after the filming was completed, which is just baffling to me. But once I reiterate many of the aspects of this movie, I'm sure you'll soon see why this has come out now. So how does this version compare to other adaptations, and does it have a worthy place as its own movie? Well, let's find out, shall we? I'm going to start by talking about the performances, leading with our leading man, Ice Cube. It may help to mention another fun fact I found out about this movie was that for all of Ice Cube's scenes, he was reacting to nothing. To elaborate on that, for those who haven't heard anything about this movie, it is done in the style of a screenlife movie, which is similar to movies like Searching and Unfriended, you know, that style of movie. So for the entire runtime, Ice Cube is looking at nothing. He's probably reading the shitty fucking script on his desktop as he's filming the thing. There's so many points where Ice Cube is talking to someone on the phone, which means he has to look down the lens, and it gets so uncomfortable very fast, and it happens a lot. For so much of the runtime, Ice Cube shows absolutely no emotion whenever he reacts to the attacks going on. The look on his face is always so unconvincing. He sees his family getting attacked and he yells as if he's trying not to wake his parents up because he stayed up gaming till 4 a.m. The look on his face the whole time just screams that he doesn't care about anything going on. It's laughable how he has absolutely no range in this thing, which is funny because Ice Cube has had some decent roles in his career. I feel like he just wasn't given any direction throughout the entire filming of this. He is beyond horrible in this, and he's on screen for a good 95% of the fucking movie. Eva Longoria is in this too for a little bit. She is also pretty bad here. There are a number of scenes where she has to act against nothing, and it's very obvious when these scenes are on screen. Her character is meant to be a NASA scientist, and I suppose when she's talking about certain things involving this, it sounds like she has knowledge about them, even though when she's on her computer, she's most likely reading off the script, like I imagine most people in this movie are doing. It seems like such an easy do when the movie is being filmed like this. Gregg is also in this movie. He is known mainly for being in the Avengers and the To-Do List. His whole character is just to talk like a government guy, and for the lines he has to say, I suppose, similarly to Eva Longoria, it sounds like to an extent he knows what he's talking about. But other than that, most of his performance just doesn't feel very believable. There's a turning point with his character where you're meant to take him more seriously, and it's so laughable because the guy is just not threatening at all. Devon Bostick is roped into this movie too. He's known for movies like Diary of a Wimpy Kid and being in one of the Saw movies. His role is, get this, an Amazon delivery driver. If I didn't mention it already, this movie is an Amazon Prime exclusive, so I wonder what genius thought to have this brilliant character in here. He's also the boyfriend of Ice Cube's daughter in the movie, and there's moments where he has to care and comfort her, which I guess he does a decent job at acting like he cares about the woman. He gets a big hero moment at the end of this thing, which I will get into very soon, don't you worry. But it's pretty funny because for these last few minutes of the movie, the guy has a VR set over his head. I just imagine the guy's looking at nothing with this thing on his face. This is quite possibly the funniest way I have ever seen this story be adapted. It genuinely, for the first couple of minutes, doesn't even feel like it could be a War of the Worlds movie. For the first 10 minutes of this thing, we are subjected to Ice Cube, who plays a hacker for the government, hacking into a bunch of different things in the world like he's a fucking character in Watch Dogs or some shit. It's a complete waste of time. Like, sure, we're getting a feel for guy's job, but I swear, after like 3 to 5 minutes, I got it, dude. You didn't need to spend so much time showing us what this guy does. What's hilarious is this movie tries to be deeper than it actually is. It makes a claim for privacy and surveillance. You know, you're kind of not supposed to side with Ice Cube at first, since he's spying on all these people. He's even spying on his family. Oh wow, how horrible. This movie is written so shitty that it reveals he is no longer with his wife, and you think, oh, because he's a spy and piece of shit, maybe he got paranoid that his wife was cheating. Nah, she just died. She just fucking died, and he's so struck with guilt, which Ice Cube definitely does a good job at conveying, guys, trust me. After a little bit, we finally get to see the aliens from this movie invade Earth, which is preceded by scenes of Ice Cube looking like he doesn't give a shit about what's happening. What's funny as well is while Ice Cube is hacking in, he's trying to look for this anonymous knockoff, and when he gets close to finding the guy, he constantly presses a button which blurts out the "that was easy" meme, you know, this one.
That was easy.
Horribly outdated. Obviously, with this movie being told through screens, it gets so boring for most of the time. There are also really weird uses of product placement. There's product placement for Tesla. Fucking Joe Rogan gets a shout out at the end. Google, YouTube, most things you can think of online is most likely in this movie. The way this movie ends is actually hilarious. I know you don't care about this movie, so I'm just gonna spoil it. The end of this movie is a total Amazon endorsement, as Devon Bostick's character saves the day with the help of Ice Cube, ordering something off of Amazon and having this Amazon delivery driver help bring this item along to save the day. It is actually mind-boggling as to why they did this. I was laughing so loudly, realizing this is how they decided to conclude the conflict of this thing. It's just horribly written from start to finish. There is also so many cringe lines, like for some reason Ice Cube has these really bad one-liners and his deliveries don't help the horrible material either. Would you believe me if I told you this movie actually has a cinematographer? It was done by Christopher Probst. He has provided cinematography for movies like Detention and that one Power Ranger short film where it's all gritty, which a lot of people actually liked. I don't even know how you could call anything in this shit actual cinematography. Most of it is just close-ups of people in front of webcams. Oh, I'm sorry, my mistake. They're meant to be webcams, but they all have the exact same fucking camera quality, which is always such a funny thing these Hollywood movies do. Let's be real, Unfriended, for example, is a shitty movie, obviously. But at least all those actors at least made it look like they were filming themselves through actual webcams. Everything here is just way too high def. This movie has the audacity to do a fake dolly zoom, which looks so horribly edited. You can tell this thing wasn't done in camera. It was horrific. There's nothing creative done here in the slightest. It's all just static, stationary shots that are bland and most of the time really flatly lit, and sometimes even look like it was done in the actors' homes. I think something that's equally as bad as the cinematography is the editing. This movie is so insanely choppy. There are multiple moments where you will see very quick frames of a wide shot, which will then zoom in really close and it looks horrible. Most of the close-ups that are already composed as close-ups are zoomed in way too close, like half the time you can't even see the actors' reactions. There's a lot of times where these zooms scan through the desktop, and there's so many moments where it becomes nauseating to watch. The people who edited this movie clearly had no idea what they were doing, unless they thought with some edits they thought it was actually saving the movie. Well, they weren't. This movie is made with no care, and it shows with how sloppy all of the scenes are just thrown together. Obviously, with the plot of this movie, there is an abundance of effects, if you can even call them that. The effects in this movie are genuinely atrocious. This movie is made by a big company. Universal has produced this fucking movie. A big company who, unfortunately, I have a bit of respect for, as they have now a stance on AI that I can get behind, as they don't want AI to use their movies to train themselves. Like, that's great to see. With that being said, I can't believe how big a company like this lets the effects get so horrible. It's on the borderline of those movies you see like Birdemic or The Amazing Bulk. It is genuinely that horrific. Looking at all of the alien stuff in this, it's disgusting. It's revolting. I would love to know how much money this movie cost to make, because it looks like the entire thing cost them probably nothing. The music in this movie was composed by John Natchez, which I also find hard to believe, but no, this guy has actually worked on other movies, although they don't seem to be anything worthy of note. The music in this movie is so incredibly bland and boring to listen to. It's serviceable for the scenes that they're in, but only just about, as the music is nothing but shitty wallpaper music that could just as well be interchangeable with free to use stock music, which sometimes I genuinely thought was actually just in the movie. It was completely forgettable and never added anything to the scenes that they were in. If you couldn't tell by all of the nitpicking in this, I really didn't enjoy a single ounce of this movie. Public domain is a hell of a thing for filmmakers, ain't it? It gives them an excuse to make art out of things that have probably originally been really, really old, that they can bring to a new audience, maybe. Well, that would be the case if the filmmakers of this movie actually gave a shit about what they were making. I have this inane theory in my head that this movie was made for people to shit on. This movie was made for people like me to make videos on, so that more people find out that this movie exists, so they can check it out for themselves, so Amazon gets more streams out of it, which is such a crazy way to go about things, making your movie. I feel like most people would do it for the love of the art form. There's no love here. This is just completely soulless. My eyes physically hurt after watching this movie. I feel like so much of my life has been taken away just by watching this. I'm giving War of the Worlds 2025 half a star. The acting from everyone involved is horrific. This is bottom of the barrel stuff from everyone involved, including a terrible lead performance from Ice Cube, who admittedly did make me laugh for how terrible he is in it, and the facial expressions he makes in this thing, again, adding to my theory that this movie was made for internet people, because I can just smell smell the memes that will come from the different faces Ice Cube makes in this. There's no substance here, even if the movie will trick you constantly with these overly sentimental moments which are laughable, that they think anyone would consider this movie anything but a joke. It's horrible to look at. The effects are vomit-inducing. It could quite possibly be one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. It feels like I'm being pranked, but at the end of the day, I just wasted my time. Don't watch this. I don't care if you're a completionist like me who has some crazy desire to watch every adaptation of an H.G. Wells story. This movie takes this story and just shits all over it. It is nothing. I've never seen more failure in a movie. It is on Amazon Prime, shockingly, with all the praise Amazon gets in this movie. What a fucking surprise. I can't stress enough how it is the better option to pirate this movie, but even that just isn't worth doing. This movie is cursed. I've never been more confused and angry in my life after watching something. This is nothing but an abysmal piece of shit.